I'm Charlie Newton, and this is Splash Live. We believe that art is for everyone, and every child deserves the right to be creative. So that's why we come on here and we do these live classes. And so we have been talking about gesture drawing, contour drawing. We even talked a little bit about drawing mass and sketching. So today, I'm going to enter into drawing the figure. But before we get started, let me announce a program that we're going to start tomorrow, Friday, the 15th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday celebration. For Martin Luther King birthday and Black History Month, what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to be a fly on the wall in my art studio. So I'm going to be making paintings. I'm an African-American artist. I'm also a minister, so that's, Dr. King is really one of my heroes. And so my art is all about the spirit. And so we're going to allow you to be a fly on the wall as I make art, but I'm also going to invite some friends in to make some art too. I don't know, I'm not sure if we're going to do that by Zoom, Facebook Zoom or not, but if we can figure that out. I'm not tech savvy personally, but however, we're going to be live on Facebook and just making art. And we call that a COVID relief. We call it shelter in art. So it's just to give you something to look at, something to do, while you're at home and staying safe from COVID-19. And many people have never been into an artist studio. Many people have never witnessed a important work of art from start to finish. So you'll get a chance to see some of the mundane things, what goes on in an artist studio. And so I hope that you would enjoy that. It can be very relaxing. It can be very meditative. I know I love watching people make art. And maybe that's because I'm an artist, I don't know. But today what we're going to do is we're going to draw some figures. We're going to sketch some figures. And hopefully I'm not going to talk too much, but we're just going to sketch some figures. And you will see me go through contour. You'll see me go through gesture drawing. I'm going to put the figure down with a gesture first. Then I'm going to start just filling the figure out. I may talk you through it. I may not. I don't know. But I am a figure painter. And that's why I want you to see that. And so let's get started. So first you need a sheet of paper. And I'm going to draw with pencils. This is going to be a finished drawing. So I just want you to see my approach to drawing the figure. I'm going to start with the lady first, the lady in purple. She's a little bit easier. It's always a good idea to start off drawing with a hard-edged pencil. So if your pencil is a B, just a B with no letter on it, it's sort of hard. But a H, a pencil that has a H is going to be a harder lead, and it makes a lighter line. So look at how I'm holding the pencil here, just like that. You want everything to be nice and relaxed. I'm going to try to fill the figure out. When I say fill the figure out, I imagine that I'm touching the figure. I imagine that my pencil is touching the sheet of paper that I'm looking at. So when my pencil touches the paper, my pencil also touches the figure. So I want the basic shape first. This is what would be the gesture, the outline. I'm thinking about the skeleton. And it's at this stage that I can decide if I need to make the figure larger or smaller. So I think this is okay. The shoulders and the waist is the most important part of this figure, the pose of this figure. Kids, when I say figure, I mean body, a lady's body. When I start the celebration for Dr. King and Black History Month in February, by the way, I'll be on Facebook, on my page, on this page, from January 15th to February the 15th. And we got a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to help us do that. For Splash Kids, I'm going to be connecting with you, not just Splash Kids, but any child who wants to paint in oils or oil paint. We have a limited amount of supplies to help you get started. Oil paint takes so much money. It's kind of expensive. And so as part of this celebration of African American culture, we're going to give some kids some paints. Now, when I was a kid, man, that would have been like Christmas for me. So I know there's some kids who have art talent. The only catch is you have to watch these broadcasts. You have to participate and watch these broadcasts and learn from these broadcasts in order to get some art supplies. Splash Kids, you can get art supplies. You just need to let me know that you want them. Okay, so I've sort of filled this in. I've mixed the gesture with the contour with the mask. And I see some changes that I want to make already. I want to move. I could either move the head over or move the body over. So I think I'm going to try to move the head over. It's not how I would usually do it. I would just. So I'm trying to get the angle of her shoulders and her hips. Her hips are more like this, shoulders like that, spine is curved. The weight is on her back, right foot here. And so now, I'm going to just draw. So, in making this drawing, whenever I approach arts, I just draw. And I don't always use the same techniques. Her head is slightly tilted. So I'm going to draw that line, let that be the center of her head, and then tilt these lines some. So I just had an inspiration of what technique or style I want to draw in. I just want to draw as if I am modeling clay. So my pencil is going to stay on the paper a lot. I'm going to do a lot by eye. I'm not going to do a lot of measuring because this drawing is so small. I want the pencil line, the pencil marks to describe this drawing. So I'm going way beyond the photograph. I'm trying to make a drawing, that expresses the way I feel, the way I do things. Now, when you're drawing, normally I would not be at a drafting table, but if you don't have a drafting table, you can use, I used to draw on the floor when I was a kid, or a kitchen table. So right now I'm more interested in my drawing than I am the photograph. I want to make a drawing that's a Charlie Newton drawing that expresses something about how I look at the world. So all these techniques we've been talking about, they're just practice techniques so that you can have a foundation for your artwork. But everyone is going to express themselves differently. The sketch, I'm not a slave to this gesture drawing, the sketch that I laid down. And a little secret, exaggerate. When you're drawing in pencil, when you're drawing on a flat two-dimensional plane like a sheet of paper or a canvas, what you want to do is exaggerate like movements or motions sometimes, because you're trying to hint at three-dimensionality. And you need to know what to leave in and what to discard and what to keep. You only want to keep those things that's going to enhance the story that you're trying to tell. And when I say story, it may not be a literal story. Like, my story is not my story is more about art in this sense. It's all about drawing and pencil. Now, what can a pencil do? How can I express myself honestly? Integrity, I've talked to somebody earlier about integrity. For the artist, integrity is everything. If you don't have any integrity, if you're just doing art just to make a dollar, then your art will never be what it could be. It's sort of like you are bastardizing yourself and you're cheating yourself out of your own gift, your own talent. There should be something. I think Dr. King said this. There should be something in your life that you're willing to die for. And that's what makes your life worth living. Something I tell kids in class, don't lose your drawing, especially when they're painting. They have a tendency to not, they'll draw and then they don't let their drawing, they forget about the drawing once they start painting. So that's the wrong attitude, because now you're just coloring. So we are not, when we're painting, we're not don't think of yourself as coloring something. Think of yourself as painting. And paint itself, brush strokes, thickness of paint, color, shade, lights and darks, all these things are what you use to express yourself. So the drawing is the foundation, the bones of the picture. The drawing are the bones. And I'm still thinking about, I'm touching the picture now. I'm still touching the picture. I can always make changes. I'm only using a hard lead pencil now. You see the range you can get from pencils? I'm just changing the pressure. And with practice, with time, you will be able to sort of master that, to control your pressures. And, I'm going to do something. You can't see her hand here, so I'm going to give her a hand. You know what? I'm going to let her hold. This is how, this is real cool. She's going to hold a sign. In light of current events. I know a lot of black kids are going to get a kick out of this. The recent events, and all culture events, national and international, they affect the artists, the true artists. Now, some artists are just into making money, which is, that's not a bad thing, but we need more from artists than that. We need more. We need, there's more to that than art. We should be affected about what's going on in the world somehow. Now, that's the wrong line there, so that's the problem with talking and drawing. So I'll make that line work. I can go back and clean that up if I feel like I need to. But with recent events, we see why there's protests for Black Lives Matter, because we see how some lives are protected and Black lives are not. The storming of the Capitol just proved that to everybody, every reasonable human being. So I guess this is a precursor to Black History Month. And the reason why I decided to do that is that, how often do you meet an African American artist who is totally, serious about their art? And that's one of the reasons for Splash. We want kids, especially low-income youth like I was. I was low income. I was poor. Okay, lived in the projects, but I had talent, and I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to give other kids with talent. You know, art changed my life for the better. Art sent me to school. I got scholarships, and it sent me to Europe where I met my wife. Art has been my life, so it's very important to me. So when I'm using all these techniques I've been talking about for the last week or so. And now I'm just making a finished drawing my way, using my style, my way of doing things. And everybody's different. Every artist is different. So you're going to have your own way. But you practice those techniques in order for you to use your own style, so that you know what's happening, what you're doing. So you have some degree of control over, you know, the finished product. Your art should not look like my art. It should look like yours. For me, art is a refuge. It has always been. If I was feeling bad, even today, I could be sick as a dog, but once I go into the studio, I actually forget that I'm sick. When a person makes art, and I'm talking to the artist now, so people who are not artists might think, you know, this guy's kind of weird, because some people think artists are weird. But those of you who are creatives, you know what I'm talking about. You enter a time that I call no time. When you focus, and 1 minute seems like an hour, or an hour seems like 1 minute. So you're not thinking about time at all. In art class, one of the hardest things is to get kids to not be in such a rush, not in such a hurry. I draw fast because I've been doing it for 60 years. I have a lot of experience. I have commercial experience where you had to have things out on a schedule. You have a certain time limit, a schedule, deadlines. So I know how to meet deadlines. And for our purposes, you know, I can't spend 3 days on this, or 3 hours. But this is a pretty normal speed for a picture this size for me, though. I'm not rushing. But right now, see what I'm doing now with my hand, with my pencil, you see that? That's contour. It's contour drawing. So I'm touching the side of her leg with my eyes. And as my eye moves, my hand moves with my eye. That way I can get a better feel, hopefully, for that shape that I like. And then I still may exaggerate some, because I want this knee to come forward, her knee. and I may have to elongate it in order for that to happen. Again, I'm not trying to make an exact copy of this picture. There's a whole lot of devices I could use to make it an exact copy. I'm going to exaggerate this part of her leg because I want the weight to come down. I want the weight to do that. So I exaggerate that part of her leg. And I'm going to change this. When you look at art restorers, what they do is if they're going to restore a painting, they will take x-rays of the painting. And those x-rays reveal a lot about how art is produced. I've looked at x-rays of paintings by Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, all of the famous artists. I've seen x-rays. What's happening underneath. I've seen x-rays of the paint. I've seen x-rays of the drawing underneath the painting. And see how I keep making changes? This is kind of things you see in those x-rays. You see the changes that the artist made as they change their mind about what they see. Now, I'm not judging my success by the picture at this point. I'm judging my success by the drawing itself. What am I trying to do with this drawing? I have to ask myself those types of questions. And the question is like, why draw it in the first place? What attracted me to this drawing? Well, just to show you about drawing a figure, but I like her pose. I really like her pose because the pose show her skeletal system, her skeleton. Now, where is she? So okay, I have time to think about this. So I'm going to try to find another reference that will help me with this. Or I may use my mind. If I can't find the reference, I'm going to use my mind. So what I want to do is place her in an environment. I really want her in the city, in a city, I think. And I could create the city, which I may be forced to do. Or I can find a reference. So I suggest you collect pictures. If you see a picture that, it'd be good for you to use as practice material, or if you see a picture that maybe you could use in your art one day, save it. But also, your memory is a good reference. And that's what I may do. I may just create, okay, now my mind is working. And so remember, everything that you see in life, from everything that you've ever seen, is in your mind somewhere. Every place you've ever been. I made this lady a little slimmer than the lady that I'm drawing, but that's okay, because I am not a slave to this picture. Now, if this was a commission, I would be a slave to the picture. Now, the good thing about drawing on a table, you can turn it upside down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and change pencils. So now the rest of this drawing, I'm not concerned about what she looks like. I'm more concerned about, now I'm concerned about what this drawing is going to say. And people may misread this drawing. And if that happens, I'm sorry, but I'm just drawing. So I'm getting a dark pencil, so I don't have to deal with so much detail. This pencil is a 5B, which is a very dark pencil, and it brings this shape, this figure, forward. this heavy line brings this leg in front of the back leg. So I'm using a 2H, a 4B. I used a 6B, and I think I'm going to use a B, which is that lid is not as hard as a H, and not as soft as a 2B. And I'm hoping that will give me the right shading that I want. I'm barely touching the paper. Always start off light, if you can remember, and never dig into the paper. Get rid of some lines I don't need. I'm using a kneaded eraser to do that. I use the side of the pencil to shade. This 2H has a point on it. Now, I would not normally sharpen my pencils with a pencil sharpener, but since these classes are for kids, I'm not going to show you the way artists sharpen their pencils, because you could hurt yourself. So for right now, it's okay to use a pencil sharpener. Have you noticed that the major leaders of the movement these days are women? That our matriarchs have come to the forefront. They've taken the greatest hit from crime, black on black crime, police on black crime, crime in general, losing their loved ones and everything. They can't think about Dr. King and not think about issues in our community. But it's amazing how the ladies have taken more leadership roles. And they're coming up in the church too. I'm just bringing stuff out. You think about that. All these types of things inform your art. Artists are not ignorant. What's happening in society actually creates the artist. And I'm going to say true artists. Get on my high horse, my high artist horse. I really believe in what I do. I was looking at Snoop Dogg yesterday. If he can believe in what he do, I can believe in what I do. Okay, that line here, that shows you where I changed the line. It's really getting in the way of what I want to do, so I'm going to get rid of it. And you can see the difference it's going to make in bringing that leg forward. now I'm trying to decide, okay, what lines to leave, lines to take out. And so this is a drawing, so I just made a decision, leave a lot of drawing line in, so we can see the beauty of line well. And I'm going to add two. I'm just finishing up the picture now by doing the background. Put her in some type of context. And with a pencil drawing, since I want to save this drawing. I don't want this drawing to get lost or damaged. What I need to do is spray it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spray this drawing in just a minute. Okay, now remember, sign your picture. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. And remember, as always, remember, art is for